الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره ونستعين به جل وعلا ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ به سبحانه وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. عباد الله، أنصحكم ونفسي الآثمة بتقوى الله، وأحثكم وإياها على طاعته، وأحذركم وإياها وبال مخالفته جل وعلا ومعصيته. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وعظم وضاعف وجدد ومجد على هذا النبي الأمين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، وارض اللهم عن صحابة رسول الله المخلصين المحسنين المتقين، ولا سيما ساداتنا الخلفاء الراشدون والأئمة المهديون، سيدنا مولانا أبي بكر الصديق، وسيدنا مولانا عمر بن الخطاب، وسيدنا مولانا عثمان بن عفان، وسيدنا مولانا علي بن أبي طالب. وارض اللهم عن الصحابة والتابعين ومن اتبع النبي بإحسان وتمسك بالثقلين إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Today is Eid, and in times of Eid, sometimes, remember last Eid we said Eid means repetition, so it comes every year. It comes every year for many things. It comes every year as a new time for a new resolution. You know how when Christmas time or New Year's they come, they make new resolution for the new year. Now our Eid is a new time, a new resolution for the next year, for what's going to happen, what we're going to do for this. Why? Because al-insan al-mu'min is living by his niyyah. You're living by your niyyah. In other words, you make intention that this year, inshallah, you're going to do better, you're going to start doing prayers on time, you're going to start fasting normally, you're going to quit things that you were doing before, and if you die with this intention and you do some of it, Allah will give you the entire reward. But if you have absolutely no intention, you're just living like, in chaos, no, we don't do that because that's not our life. That's a life of people who have, that's animals live like that without any planning. But human beings should have some planning. Like, Eid also comes to us in a time where Muslims, as you see, are under pressure everywhere, even the economic suffering, all these things. It is time for us in Eid to remember all these people. And Eid is a time for remembrance. Remembering of what? Remember how many people right now, you're sitting here and you're very comfortable, alhamdulillah, but how many people in Muslim countries in this Eid right now, they couldn't find even a place to make wudu. They couldn't find a place to eat breakfast before they came or after they leave right now. Because a human being should share the suffering of their fellow human beings. And that's what Islam tried to emphasize, the human aspect of the human being. Also, not only that, Eid now, we have people standing here, and we have people right now standing in Arafah. Actually, maybe because since there's 7 hours, but still some of them maybe standing in Arafah. And also it gives us an opportunity for those who were not fortunate to go, that they should plan on going. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you everyone's age is certain number. You're born with a certain number. You know how they say when you're born, you're count down, not count up. Count down starting. Going back to 0. Not going from 0 to 100, no. The minute you're born, let me say this, and I know it may sound depressing, but the minute we're born, we're given a death certificate. When you're born, you're given a death certificate along with it. Thank you, you have been born, you will die after such and such days. So enjoy. Enjoy what? How do you enjoy? Therefore, enjoyment is by what? By obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because these numbers are what? They're very short, no matter how everyone, you can ask some people among us are like probably in their 50s, in their 60s, and some people among us are in their 10s and 20s. And ask any of them, how was your life, 60 years of life, how is it? They say it's like yesterday. The whole thing is like a dream. Even you yourself, you said last year we were standing, it's like a dream. And guess what? If Allah gives you 30 years to live, 40 years to live, 50 years to live, 60 years to live, even 950 years, like Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, and they asked him, when he was dying, he said, Ya Nuh, Ya Nabi Allah, you lived, outlived everybody, 950 years, almost 1,000 years. How was it? He said, Wallah, it's like going into a room from one door and exiting out of the other. I didn't feel it, it's like a dream. So, in that sense, we all live kind of equally, because our whole life is like a dream, like a short dream. But the problem with this short dream is this: من يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا. Now, another aspect for the Eid is you dress nicely. And this is a sunnah to dress beautiful. When you come to Eid, you dress the best clothing you have. May Allah give you money and wealth and health so you can dress and you can look good. But I want you to think about those who cannot find any money to dress. Those Muslim brothers in India, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, in the Arab world, in the Eastern European Muslim nations, how many people of the Muslims right now in Africa, how many Muslims right now cannot dress? And don't emphasize that to your kids, that they should dress well on the Eid. This is a sunnah. But don't forget to emphasize which is the bigger sunnah. What is the bigger sunnah? Here's what the poet said. ليس العيد لمن لبس الجديد. Eid is not for who's wearing new things. ليس العيد لمن لبس الجديد إنما العيد لمن طاعته تزيد. The Eid is for he whose ta'ah, whose worship to Allah is increased. He has Eid. So if your ta'ah increased today, then that's Eid for you. So Eid is not just wearing something new or something clean and nice. Eid is for those whose worship has increased. So if your worship has not increased from last year till now, then this is time to make a check and balance. How is it going to increase? الحمد لله كما الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما ينبغي لجلاله وكماله، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله. Eid, I will mention two more things because I know you're anxious to go and meet your family and meet your friends. But Eid also reminds us of two aspects. I want to remind you of two things. Number one, look at all of us. And this is a cross-section of what you see right now in Makkah al-Mukarramah, Sharafa Allah. People from every direction of life, every single background, rich, poor, tall, short, black, white, everything. What does this tell you? The emphasis of Islam on equality. After all, Islam looks at you and says, I don't care whether you're tall or short, whether you're white or black, whether you're big or small, whether you're this or that, you are all a human being, and as a human being you're accountable. That's all. In Iskandar in Macedonia, Alexander, that they call the Great Alexander, they call the Great Alexander, the Macedonian Alexander. The one who actually went all the way to India. One time, he went with his soldiers on the horse out of his palace, and he saw a slave. You know, slaves at that time, they would treat them less than anything. They would treat animals better than slaves. So he saw a slave, he looked at him, and he said, trying to make fun of him, he said, what's the difference between you, he's telling the slave, and my God? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at Islam. Islam, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Bani Adam, the son of Adam, is all honorable. Everybody's honorable. Just because you're Bani Adam, you're honorable. Imagine. What is the mentality of these people? They say, what's the difference between you and my God? He tells them. And it's kind of the man, the slave, he says, O king, someone who doesn't obey Allah is worse than your God. A king, he told them, a king, the highest of kings, who doesn't obey Allah is what? Is worse than your God. They said, what is in your hand here? Because this was, Iskandar was going by a graveyard for the rich people. He said, what is this in your hand? He said, a bone. The slave told him, I have a bone. He said, what kind of bone? He said, a bone of a rich man that apparently was buried here. He said, what are you doing? He said, I'm looking at it. He said, why are you looking at it? He said, I'm trying to see if there's a difference between the bone of a rich man and the bone of a poor man. So now Alexander, they said, he got mad. He said, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid from all these armies that I have and all these soldiers? He said, no. I'm not afraid. He says, no, I'm not afraid. لا. قال لما? Why? قال لأني كنت أناجي من هو أعظم منك جيوشا وجندا. Because I was just praying to the one who has more greater armies and soldiers than you do. That's why I'm not afraid. What does that mean? Equality, we're all the same. We're all the same. One more aspect also, and that's the last aspect, I'll finish with that. This is a day where we all remember the rights of ourselves and the rights of others. We have lots of people in the society that we deal with every day. Sometimes because you're a human being, you make mistakes. Sometimes you commit injustice and aggression against other people without knowing, maybe sometimes knowing or being forgetful. Sometimes some other people commit aggressions against you. Some people commit dhulm against you. They mistreat you, or they say something bad to you. Or sometimes you, by mistake, because we're not human beings, we make mistakes, you say something bad to people. This is the day where I would like you, and I would like myself and everybody, if you see someone that made something against you, or said something bad against you, or did something bad against you, that you felt was wrong, that took something of your right, before you go to forgive him out of your heart, and then you go and start to say salam to him. And if he's not here, you pick up the phone and say, Assalamu alaikum, how are you today? Happy Eid, or Eid Mubarak to you. Or you forgive him in your heart and you make dua for him, or for her. And for the family members that you haven't seen in a while, that you pick up the phone. This is the day to re-establish that human connection again. And he who forgives, remember, the reason is, when you forgive, it's not like, this is not a sign of weakness. This is a jahiliyyah of things. The sign of weakness is a jahiliyyah. Because there's many hadith that says, he who forgives his fellow brother, and it's your own right that you forgo. You're forgoing your own rights, Allah gives you a pass in Jannah. So if you want, be upset and leave it, lose a palace, here's the job. You have a business opportunity. Forgive and clear your heart. The Quran says, Allah, don't make in our hearts anything against those who believe. No matter what they do. People will do mistakes, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كل ابن آدم خطاء. All the son of Adam is خطاء. One last thing I will say before we finish. Among the Muslims, we have our fathers that passed away, our forefathers, our grandfathers, our grandmothers. Please remember them today to make dua for them. This is very important. They raised you, they need your dua today. They passed away, nobody is making, you cannot visit them now. You cannot go to their graves and visit them, you cannot do these things. But make dua today for them. Those who passed away. And those who are not passed away. Muslims, we have so much needs. So many needs. We are so needy to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have people who are sick in hospitals today. May Allah give them shifa. We have people who are not happy. May Allah give them happiness. We have people who are not praying. May Allah guide them. We have people who need money. May Allah give them money and wealth. May Allah give them all help. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم بارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إنا نتوجه إليك إلى جلال قدرك ووجهك. اللهم اشف أمراض المسلمين. اللهم عاف مبتلانا. اللهم فك أسرانا. اللهم ارحم موتانا. اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا. اللهم استر عيوبنا. اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بما فعلنا. اللهم ادخلنا الجنة بسلام. اللهم اجمعنا مع خير الأنام. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلاة ترضيك وترضيه وترضى بها عنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولآبائنا ولأمهاتنا ولمشايخنا ولمن له حق علينا ولمن على الخير أعاننا ولمن عن الشر أبعدنا. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله. And congratulations and Eid Mubarak.